I'm 1,000 pieces, still standing tall, a voice in the chaos. I've lived it all. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, a friend in the night, holding a broken, still holding the light. Shells in my pocket, dreams in my hands, building something they don't understand. The crafter of hope from shattered days, finding my strength in a million ways. They don't see the tears fall down in the shower, they don't know the pain behind the power. They only see me when I'm shining bright, not the battles I fight every night. But still I rise through the fire they made, through the hate, through the words they threw in my face. I'm still here, I'm still strong, this is where I belong. Mommy ramblings in my name, I built this boy through the pain. Every rebel that stayed by my side, you're the reason I survive. Still I rise, still I stand, with a broken heart and steady hands. They try to tear me down piece by piece, like I don't deserve a moment of peace. Was it just cause I didn't fit the mold, so they threw their stones and turned so cold? There are things I'll never say out loud, the kind of pain that don't need a crowd, but I carry it deep where the silence lives, and still find a way to give and give. And I smile when I go live like I'm okay, but they don't see the price I'll pay. We missing you with every breath I take, my sweet boy, my heart still breaks. But still I rose for the fire they made, through the hate, through the words they threw in my face. I'm still here, I'm still strong, this is where I belong. Mommy ramblings, this is me, every left still chasing dreams, every rebel that never walked away. You're the light that got me through the grave. Still I rise, still out there, with your memory in my head. God, you carried me when I was weak, when I couldn't stand, you lifted me more times than I could ever say. You made a way, you made a way. And I've got dreams that won't let go, a foundation built, some love I know. For my son, for the ones he played, I'll turn my loss into something I've been made. Yeah, I rise, now I'm stronger than before. Every scar just opened up a door. I'm still here, hear me now. I won't break, I won't bow. Mommy rambling, loud and clear. This is my voice, this is my ear. Every rebel, every heart, you've been with me from the start. Still I rise, still I fight, turning darkness into light.
I'm still your mom, and I'll build something beautiful from all this pain.
Hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so on the screen you see profiler Pat Brown. You may not be familiar with Pat Brown. You may be very familiar with Pat Brown. You may have heard Scooter mention Pat Brown in the past. She likes to watch Pat Brown. I've seen a few videos of Pat Brown's. I don't even know if I've seen one all the way through. I don't think I ever have. But today when I was cleaning, this came up into my feed, and I thought it was crazy because I just talked about some of this last night. The promotion of Crimecon in the mix with true crime. Let me make sure you can hear me. Hang on. Let me just see here. Talked about perfect. Okay, so yeah, and I was saying, hi Linda, hi Jan Grill, hi everybody that's tuning in. I was saying some of the same things that she does cover. So I was pretty intrigued, and I sent Scooter a message, tongue in cheek, saying, Pat Brown must have been listening to me last night because she's expanding on what I was talking about. Now, if you weren't here last night, what I started to talk about was how I think Crimecon has cheapened, but that's not even the word I want to use, but it's kind of, to me, it makes a mockery of true crime podcasts, true crime shows, true crime hosts, true crime journalists, and it puts them all in this melting pot where you've got, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Really, you have some clowns in there that don't know anything about true crime, that have podcasts, and they're spitting out alternative facts, and they're doing clicks and views. And then you're getting somebody like Nancy Grace in there. And then, and then we're putting like crime victims in there. And it just become, to me, I don't know, it seems nowhere that I would want to be, but it was an absolute shite show this year in every way possible, I think. So I was talking about that, and she brings that up as well, but she brings up other things. Now, you may not agree with some of the other things that she brings up, okay? But I'm going to react to this because I know there's some people that listen to some of the people about Nancy Guthrie and think, oh, they're doing wonderful things camped out outside her driveway. But we're going to hear Pat's thoughts on it. I'm going to react to Pat's thoughts on that, okay? So let me get this down. Let me get my camera on. Okay. So, and I don't know why. Okay, I've got to get this here. I've got to get my transcript here. So she first says, she something like, and I apologize because I don't really watch her. I've seen bits and pieces up until today. But because Scooter has told me maybe, go look at this one, or she did a good video. And I had nothing against her or anything like that. I really don't have time to watch a lot of videos or stuff, but I did listen while I was cleaning. And she said that I think she ruminated on making this video because of maybe some of the backlash she's going to get. And behind her, she has these books up. Now, I saw these books that she has up there. One of them was Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer. And there is an ex-FBI agent by the name of Jennifer, I'll leave it at that. If you know, you know, right? Who had this author on a few weeks ago. And that's written by Cheryl Macaulay, I think it is. And that whole book is something about her working with a serial killer. Let me see. She was working with solving a cold case with the help of, I believe it was a serial killer, something to that effect, okay? Anyway. And then she has some, that woman was at Crimecon. Okay, so that's how the whole thing with Crimecon ties into everything. But she starts out first, somebody in her chat calls the criminal profilers the boots on the ground. And she says, okay, all right. She says, now again, listen to me. You're probably like some of the people that she has very strong opinions about. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. Okay? I'm doing a reaction to it. You can still feel however you want to feel about the people she has issues with. I'm just going to react to this, and because some of the stuff that I do agree with her on, okay? So she says that the detectives and the profilers, someone says in the chat she's reading, are the boots on the ground. And she says, you know what? Yes, they are. And you know who's not? And she actually says, who the hell isn't? And this is one of the things that I'm going to start right here. Who isn't boots on the ground, she says, and disgusts her beyond belief. She goes, let's look at some of them. And she shows a picture of, I'm just going to say, I believe there's Juice, I think is the guy's name. Okay? And she shows this guy sitting outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. And she says he apparently, they nailed him with some kind of a misdemeanor. And she said, what is he doing? He's sitting in the streets. What is this doing, for the case, for this, that, the other thing? This is boots on the ground? Okay, so then, hold on. And then she mentions the guy with the 3 initials, right? Okay, and we all know who that is. And she says, she says, they're basically harassing the living hell out of the neighborhood. She goes, I wouldn't say they're stalking, but when you sit there, she said, but when you sit there with a freaking camera and the poor neighbors can't even walk up and down the street without being on video, she said if she was one of the neighbors, she'd say, dude, get out of the neighborhood. And then she's like, oh, yeah, their boots on the ground, they're really helping to find Nancy Guthrie. And then she talks about, where's Nancy Guthrie? And then she says, here's another jackass. Gotta love her. She's 70 years old. She looks great. She says that she doesn't think she looks great. I think she looks great. I don't see even any wrinkles on this woman. So she's 70 years old. She looks really good. And she's quite a character and has a lot of energy and all of that. But anyway, she says the jackass of all jackasses, that's her quote there, is the one with the 3 initials. And she says, he's got almost 500,000 followers. And she said he did I think she said he did it 19 hours ago, and the headline was Breaking Extreme Danger, Nancy Guthrie Kidnapping Live, and it has 121,000 views. And she called him a con artist. Okay, I'm just telling you what she said. Okay, she called him a con artist, and she said, all of you that are following him, she said, stop doing it. She said that he was in prison for 10 years for fraud, and he has massive amounts of information on Wikipedia, and you can find out anything about him. It's not hidden, she said. And, but, oh, you're going to say, oh, he admitted to it? She said, yeah, because it's on Wikipedia. And this is what she said. Do you not understand? The dude's a con artist, and he'll tell you something which is true. What I'm going to tell you about each one of these people, they're not untalented, she said. They have talent. And she said he is a talented man. That's how he cons people. On the Where's Nancy Guthrie, on the boots on the ground dude, she said, you haven't done one useful thing to find Nancy Guthrie, because all you're doing is interfering with the police investigation. You're stalking people's ideas that this person did it or that person did it, and it's all disgusting. That's what she says. Okay, do we believe that? I 100% believe that they are in Tucson for clicks and views and money and because it's lucrative. And I think anybody that doesn't see that is just trying to kid themselves, okay? The reason I think they keep going back there is because it's very lucrative, okay? It's probably the most lucrative thing they could be doing. All the headlines, are they what? They're sensational. They're to bring in people. Are they ethical, truthful? You decide there, right? But she says it offends her terribly that what's happening there, because we may not think, or you may not think, the case is being handled well, but I do not know what's going on behind the scenes. And that bothers her because she's worked with police department, she says, and she gets behind the scenes. And she says, even what the families say, they don't even know what's happening. So she says when she gets behind the scenes, it's like, oh my gosh, boy, did they mess this case up? She said, I'm not saying it might be messed up, but a lot of times you find out the police have done other due diligence and the family's just angry because they haven't solved the case in a certain amount of time, but they don't have the evidence, to take anybody to court at that time, so they can't do anything yet. They may even know who did it, but they just can't prove it. And if you can't prove it, you should not be going to court, right? And that's where she comes in now with this author. Okay, now I don't know a lot about this author. I saw a very small portion of an interview with an ex-FBI agent by the name of Jennifer that had this author on the show. I saw a tiny portion, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 2 months ago. All I recognize is the book, Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer. So she said that there's a lot of problems with non-professionals cluttering up YouTube, and they are just harassing people. And she said they saw it with the Karen Reed case, and whether you think Karen Reed is guilty or innocent or whatever, she calls out the Turtle Boy. Telling you might not, okay? Now, maybe if you love him, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how could she do that? Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm reacting to her video. That's it. Okay? She says, she describes his content, I believe it is, as pieces of garbage, and that he and the three-letter initial guy should get together and maybe have a drink or punch each other out, but that he had a huge impact on the media, and that they pushed all these people to come and hang out with their signs and their pink shirts and to free Karen Reed. And it had nothing to do with evidence. It had everything to do with social media. And she calls them scumbags who are making money hand over fist over the social media, and they don't give a crap about the victim. So when people say, oh, I'm here for the victim, she said, do you think the guy with the 3 initials cares about Nancy Guthrie? That's what she says. And she says, hell no. Okay. She says most of the people who say, I wonder what happened, what's happening to Nancy, they don't care either. They just want to be part of the drama. They want to be there, excited. They're connected to the case. Again, like I said, all these people going out there, they're out there for a reason. So you either think they care so much about this case, or is it for the clicks, the views, the exposure, the money? Put it in the chat what you think they're out there for. Are they out there because they care so much about Nancy and they're doing such great things in finding her? Or are they out there for themselves? Clicks, views, and money. You decide. She said, and it becomes, it's something to do when you're home alone, but she says everybody that's watching them and that he's doing is absolutely nothing to help this. And she says if you watch her channel, that she's done a couple of things on Nancy, but she's trying to look at evidence. And if you watch it, you're not going to find Nancy, but you maybe understand how things work or evidence. She's going to teach you that kind of stuff, okay? What you're going to do is be educated, she said, on how things work, and that's it. So that's what she said. And she did say something about some people are going to say, oh, you're just jealous. You're just jealous because you don't get as many views and you don't have as many subscribers and this and that. And she's saying, look, she said she is 70 years old and she knows what she is and what she isn't. And, this is what she does, is get into a case, get into the facts. She teaches investigators. She does the profiling. And if there isn't something to report in a case, she's not going to keep it going just to keep it going. And you know that I can't stand that part of it either. So I agree with her 100%. These people that milk it when there's nothing more. And every day it's Nancy Guthrie. And you've heard me say that. What are we going to talk about? There's nothing new on Nancy Guthrie. Yeah, I could come out and be really unethical if that was in me and talk about it and it would bring in more viewers, but I can't do stuff like that. That's not in my makeup. I don't do stuff like that. That's not even... So I get what she's saying. If there's evidence, if there's something to look into, if there's something, talk about it. But this constant every day in these headlines, all these sensational freaking headlines about nothing. Nothing's being done to find Nancy Guthrie from any of this. You know that. Okay. So then you're going to be surprised now because she also takes Brian Enton to task. Okay? So hold on a minute. And I can't look at the chat while I'm doing this because I'll stop in a little bit and take a look. But so she says what she calls scumbags out there. She says, but we have people in professional media doing some of the same stuff. And she calls out Brian Enton. And she says he also says boots on the ground. He's boots on the ground. And he shouldn't, she said, because he's representing professionalism, professional journalism. And she feels like he is doing the three initial stuff, right? But maybe at a little bit of a higher level, with a little bit of higher class, but still essentially the same thing. And she says, you're not finding Nancy Guthrie. Okay? And, if you don't see that, okay, if you're reporting news that a journalist should be reporting, just report the dang news, she says. If you're making the news by having all these mass experts on, constantly being on, and walking around in the area and pointing to trees, pointing to bushes, and pointing to this, you're just trying to get clicks. So that was her first rant on this video, okay? Now, do you agree with it? Maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you don't. Okay? Whatever. Maybe some of you say, it's entertainment. Who cares? I'll watch it. Whatever. Now, she talks about seminars she's done and the problem with seminars. And then she says, she talks about training detectives and stuff. And she really does want to do that. But she says, let's see, what was the next rant she got on? Hold on. I'm trying to go through and get to these notes here. Okay. So detectives. She says they're just busy working, and with YouTube, she tries to make stuff so that if they're in their cruiser and they're bored, they'll click on one of her videos and learn that the profiling school will be short little bits on the most important things that they could learn, practical tips for pros, for detectives. Okay, so she talks a little bit about that. She talks about her daughter, how she's a detective 21 years, and she's been a homicide detective along with sex crimes and stuff with domestic violence and child abuse, and it's a whole different world. Okay, she goes out there and she says, I'm telling the truth about a lot of stuff, so this is what it is. And, it's maybe people aren't going to like it. She said maybe she's going to get a lot of backlash. And I'm sure she probably will, right? Let's see. Okay, so she starts talking about Nancy Guthrie and saying that all these conspiracy theories and things, they put people in harm's way. She talks about the son-in-law that has been so harassed as he drove his mother-in-law home, and therefore he killed her. So she says she doesn't exclude anybody from being a possible suspect, and the police have said that he and the wife and the daughter of Nancy they've been cleared. She says, but I know for so what at that point I say, hey, take your eyes off of him. If the police have their eyes still on him, and then they're just saying that, let them take care of it. But it's not for you to sit there and destroy this man's life. That's what she says. And if it turns out that it is him, okay, let the police handle this. That's what she's saying. So she gets annoyed when they put down the police, like they're not doing anything. Again, she says you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. It's frustrating things for cops these days because you don't know any of that, and it's hating on the police officers. So she says that. And let's see. What else did she say? I want to get to my other stuff because... Oh, she goes back to the Karen Reed and the TB guy, right? And saying that he's a piece of work. It goes farther up than that. You can't get rid of it, she says. Let me see here. Television media has turned into a behemoth where they control what's happening so they can put pressure on the police departments and the prosecutors to solve cases that they've already been solved. And in other words, they're just saying either convict somebody now, or you didn't do that along with the Innocence Project, who doesn't care if anybody's innocent. She's just saying like there's so much crap in the media now. And then she's going to talk about Crimecon and who's controlling Crimecon now. And I didn't even know that. She's saying that Fox bought Crimecon. I didn't know that. But it explains a lot of things that are going on because it's all controlled. So that's what I mean. It's really a circus. All of it's such a circus. So let me see. She talked about some other cases. I didn't quite catch her, but some woman that people that she said are aligning themselves with these killers, So a guy named Ken Main, she says, and she said that she really liked him, and then he started, let me see what he teamed up with, okay. So she said she actually developed the first criminal profiling certificate program in the country, but she's called a fraud. And she says someone who was murdering. So let me see. He was on San Quentin's death row, she says, and calls himself a criminal profiler, and he gets to go to Crimecon. So this killer goes to Crimecon, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so wonderful. We just love you, Bill." So I don't know who this is, and now he's rehabilitated. So Ken Maines, she says that he's there with Bill, and they're buddies now. And she said he found out about him, and actually Bill wrote Ken and said, "Look, I can find out stuff about this serial killer in jail, and I can help figure out more things, more crimes that he's committed because I'm in, and if I become his buddy in jail." So then she said that Ken Maines brought him on his show by phone because he's still on death row, and Ken Maines said, "You're brilliant, blah, blah, blah," and he's treating him like a profiler, okay, and the guy's in prison on death row, okay, but he's treating him like he's a criminal profiler, is what she's saying. Now, then you get the people that say, takes one to know one, and you have a lot of these people on there that are saying that these guys know one, right? And I'm telling you right now, I don't have any knowledge of Ken Maines or the guy she's talking about, but I can tell you that she's really upset about it, okay? And she said that I believe she really liked Ken Maine before this, and she said she didn't know what he was doing, but thought maybe he wanted to get a documentary or something. And then I think she said he ended up getting some kind of a show on this thing. But she goes, now the guy's a hero, and now he's at Crimecon. And she says it's disgusting. And is he really helping killers? I mean, find killers? No, she said. He was in prison with a Nassau guy, and the guy was suspected of killing more people than he did. And he hooked up with him, and he wrote down 300 pages of notes. And she said, in her opinion, the guy's a psychopath and a manipulative guy who knows whether Nassau even said the things he said that he wrote down. We don't have a video of it, she said. We don't have audio. We don't have anything. We just have this guy's word. So she goes, "Yeah, Bill, we believe everything you say because you brutally killed your girlfriend's mother in the most horrific way to get some insurance money. So you're a piece of crap, and I'm never going to like you because you're a piece of crap." So he's a manipulator, and he's like, "Man, I got access to this guy, so I'm going to get myself out of prison because I like writing books anyway. He's good at it." And so now this guy is hooking up. She's saying, like, he's hooking up with these killers to get stuff. So that she says that Ken Maines is talented, but he hooked up together to fool the public into thinking that his show there's any worth, and that this book is of any worth, and that it will actually solve any crimes, which he did not. So what she's trying to say, from what I understand, my opinion of it, even though I don't know those people that she's talking about, I can understand where she's going with it. She's saying you do have somebody who is talented, maybe they're a criminal profiler, an investigator or something, but then they just start going to the sensationalism, and they start hooking up with some serial killer in prison on death row because they might be able to get something that'll sell a book, that'll sell a TV show, that'll sell, a story, a movie, whatever, a documentary. And so is it then truly about solving any cases, or is it about, again, like the clicks, the views? So that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Has everybody moved to that level? Or is anybody really caring about solving something? Or are they just looking for the next thing to sell the book or sell the video? Or that's what she's saying, in other words. And you're getting some really good people that I guess she had respect for doing some crazy stuff. And maybe that's like what I said about how I think when I was saying how Crimecon can like cheapen the image is what I was saying, because it was like a circus, especially it was a shite show this year. And you lose, I think, in my opinion, some respect for the journalists or for the, like, you know, for the Nancy Graces and stuff like that to be mixed in amongst that crap. Okay? Or just pandering and doing stuff for the clicks and the views and bringing out the nonsense. It does make you lose respect, in my opinion. It's my reaction, right? So I think that's where she's going with this. And even though I don't know those two people that she's talking about, I have heard the name Ken Maines because I knew a guy, Kenny Maine, and every time she says that, it makes me think of that. But I've heard her say that, or heard someone else talk about that. But even though I don't have this specific knowledge of the people she's talking about, I think I have the principle she's talking about. When somebody that has credentials and maybe has done great things in the past suddenly starts selling out, and does everybody sell out? And do people sell out because it's better for their family or better for them, or this because they think everybody's selling out and all it's about is clicks, views, and money? You know, so I don't know. I think that's what she's trying to say, and she's not doing that. And I think in a lot of ways, you know, I've said stuff like that. Like, there are things that I know I could come on here every single night and keep going. I could have gone on and on and on and on with the Chris Watts case, like some creators did, right? And just keep going on and telling you there were things that were happening that weren't happening. And then it was Idaho 4, right? And now, I mean, I was talking to Scooter about it last night. There's people saying this is exactly what I said last night. I went on the Crimecon and then I said there were people that I thought that if it's the same person that I saw, that I remember, like with Letitia Stout, they seem to be talking facts back in the day. But now I've heard them saying the most crazy things about the Idaho 4 case. And then even saying things about the victims' families and things like that, that I can't even. And saying that Brian Koberger didn't do this, and just craziness. And you know what? I just thought about it too the other day. There was something I couldn't think with Jimmy, and somebody was saying something that was so crazy that like something like that was written in the Bible, and then I don't know if it was and it was erased. It was just, I can't even think of it now, but that's what kind of this was. They're trying to say there's things in the discovery that nobody's seen, or that they were changed. Just such craziness that it's just nuts. And to me, yeah, people that have to keep writing new episodes to keep a case going because there's interest in it. And you know me, I've said, some people said, well, can we talk? I said, there's nothing new in that case. What are we going to talk about? You know, we beat it to death. If there's something new, we'll talk about it. So anyway, I believe that's what she's saying. And I do agree on that. Okay. I'm going to check the chat now because I know I've talked for a long time, and I'll see what you guys are saying here. Okay, let's see. Let me go back. Hi, Terry. How are you? Hi to Scooter. Okay, just a good guy. The cops are harassing him. You follow him. They're harassing the YouTube streamers. He's a very nice guy. I don't watch him, Terry. Like I said, I'm just reacting to what she's saying. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reacting to what she's saying. I don't watch the guy. Bestie. Terry, does Terry know I'm reacting? I'm sorry, Terry. I'm reacting to what she said. I just said to you I don't watch them. I don't understand. Yeah, Danielle, no, my husband was not in prison for 10 years, but okay, Danielle. Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, sure. All right. Oh my gosh. You agree with Pat Brown. Well, Terry's upset now. And Terry, I hope you can hear me because I don't watch the guy. I'm telling you about people, what she's saying about people, right? Okay? That's what I'm telling you, that there are people. Some are better than others. Absolutely, Gretchen. I agree with that. I agree with that. Absolutely. Okay. All right, Danielle. You know what? I thought you were supposed to not watch me. I thought your leader said not to watch me, Danielle. What's up with you? Hi, Laura. Feel like everyone is fighting for true crime documentaries after following cases. Yeah, Laura. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Susan, let me see what you said. Crimecon was run by new people this year. Well, I don't know. Pat Brown said that the Fox Media owns it now. I don't know if that's true. Has a big part in the first one in Colorado. I think they go to prison and get worse. And the families have already had the worst thing happen to them that someone can imagine, and these people just pick them apart when they're down. Yes, right, Laura. I don't agree with a lot of Pat Brown's analysis on other cases. In fact, Pat Brown disagreed with me when I first emailed her. Carolyn listened to me. Yeah, okay, you need to understand, and everybody needs to listen to what I said. I said, Scooter told me about Pat Brown. I never watched a full video of Pat Brown's. This one came up in my feed, and I listened to it today while I was cleaning. While I was cleaning the floors and stuff, I was doing a lot of cleaning. And some of the things that she said resonated with me as about sensationalism on a case and not letting it go. And is it really helping at that point? You don't agree with anyone no matter what. They're on everyone, Gretchen. Yeah, I don't agree with everyone either. I'm just saying there are some things that she says that I agree with. There are some things that I don't know what she's talking about, and I don't watch those streamers. And Terry, I wish you'd come back because for really besties, we should be able to understand each other's point of view. And I'm reacting to something someone said. That's what I'm saying. And are you saying you only like me if I think just like you? You can't like me if I have another opinion? Is that really my bestie? Come on. Some of the things exactly. Pat emailing back rudely. Yeah, I'm not saying that she's the be all end all. I'm really telling you, this is the first video of hers that I watched. The first one. But all I'm saying is I'm just looking at what she said and unpacking it and putting some things that I feel in there. But where's our BFF Terry? Because if you're really our BFF, you should be our BFF whether we agree on something or not. Because I can treat you with respect even if you don't feel a certain way that I do. And I would, if I feel a different way, that shouldn't come in the way of our friendship, Terry. So, I don't know. I'm friends with a lot of people that I don't think exactly like them. I think it would be really boring to be with friends that you all think the same thing. It's about having respect for each other. I don't understand where we are in a society now that if you do not think exactly as I think, I can't be friends with you. And I have to leave and you disgust me and I hate you. Like, when did that come about? That's really terrible that's what we're at. What a boring world if everyone was the same. No one knows, no one learns, no one grows. Right. I mean, I'm not trying to stuff that's what I even said. I said, you may get upset because you may like some of these people. Okay? And that's what I said, but we're just going to do a reaction to it. And this was, I don't know. I hope our bestie is, because if you're my bestie, but you only like me because we thought exactly alike, but you don't even know what I think about some things. I'm telling you what she said, and you're mad because I told you what she said. You're mad at me, Terry, because I told you what Pat Brown said. And that maybe some things there that I can relate to. It's okay. You know what? What was his name? Nelson, what's his first name? Ricky. What did Ricky say? What'd Ricky say? He went to a garden party. You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. I don't know. Look at Murder Crow says, I disagree with most people, but I can respect their opinion, agree to disagree. I thank you, Murder. I agree to that too. It's really boring if, you have a yes person constantly. Yes. Oh, that's right. Yes. No. You may disagree on something. That's okay. What is it? Opposites attract? Even in mates, right? How many husbands and wives are apart, politically? One might be one party, one might be the other party. I know a lot of couples like that. Right? One's all the way one way, one's all the way the other way. One's a saver, one's a spender. One's into technology, the other one's embracing their flip phone. I don't know. But I do know that if Terry's really my bestie, she'll come back. But also, safe boundaries are things that you can give someone time to come to a different conclusion. You don't abandon them. Right, Laura? I agree. Yeah. there's a lot of people that there's certain things that I know we are not in agreement with. Hear the spender. But Abraham Lincoln deliberately appointed political opponents to the cabinet because he was wise. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of put a damper on things because I just wanted to talk about what she said and what she said about Crimecon. And she, basically said Crimecon is a shite show. And I'm going to go on with what she said. I feel bad about Terry because I like Terry. Terry, I like you. I hope you understand. I hope you cool down and think about things, because it shouldn't. If you like that guy that sits out in front of the house, then that's fine. Who's saying that you can't like him? I'm telling you what she said about him. I mean, her video is going to be out there whether I react to it or not. It's not like I'm out there, I don't know. I'm just reacting to what she said. I don't know. But I hope she changes her mind on things. Okay, let me go back to this. Let's see now. And Terry, there really isn't you say I didn't do my research on him. I didn't have to research him because it wasn't about him per se, as it was just about what I'm saying about people that sensationalize cases. That's what my relation was. And I'm talking about Idaho 4, and I'm talking about Chris Watts' case, and I'm talking about those cases that got sensationalized to keep them going. Okay? Let me go here. Okay. She went on about, she started to talk about some of these people that embellish the things that they do and the things that they say they've done, or because they made videos about a case, they say that she's like, well, she made videos about the same cases, but she doesn't say she's worked on them. And some of these people that she was talking about put in their profiles that they worked on cases like the Boston Strangler and stuff. And she's like, no, you didn't. So she just called them out. Okay, she had chutzpah to call them out. I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's see. She says she's terrible at self-promotion. She says that she's met a lot of people. She doesn't even remember to take pictures with them, but there's other people that if they meet Nancy Grace and stuff, they know right away, get the picture with her and to do that. And she said she's not good at self-promotion. Now, I'm going to say it for like the 50th time. This is the first video of Pat Brown that I have listened to, aside from bits and pieces, maybe 2 years ago when Scooter told me about something and I listened for a few minutes. So please, you guys are like thinking like, I don't know, maybe she will, aggravate the crap out of me, okay? I'm not saying I agree with everything. I'm reacting to some of the things that she said in the video. And I just thought we would discuss that tonight. I never thought it would chase away my bestie, but... Okay, so then she says, self-promotion is the... she says sometimes it's deception, and she believes some of these people, even these authors and these ex law enforcement stuff, they're very much into it, and trying to say they're solving cases. And she says it's not so much solving cases as it's being recognized for solving cases. And she talks about, and now another woman that I have no idea who it is, a Melissa, a Wolfenberger. And I believe she said that, now see, I don't know who these people are. Okay, so maybe Terry says I didn't do my research. But see, it's not a matter of who they are. It's just the concept that she's talking about. That's what I'm talking about more than that, Terry, the concept. So I don't watch that guy that I think his name is Juice. But she was talking about a concept. That's all. So apparently she says Melissa's mom and her sister showed up at Crimecon and said, would you help me find out who killed my daughter? And I don't know what she was saying. She was trying to say that the mother, see, I don't know these people, so it's a whole case, but she's trying to say the family, she thinks, and the father, she says, is a cold-blooded psychopathic killer. And she says that the wife, she thinks, is not far behind him. Now, I don't know the case, okay? So I cannot relate to anything she's saying about these people because I don't know them. But what she's saying now in this concept, again, she's going to say, is people teaming up for the purpose of something like a documentary, like a book. She says, then the book comes out. So I think she's just questioning the legitimacy. Okay? And some people have very strong convictions. Like I said, it's easy, especially with the Watts case, which I knew inside and out. Okay? If I sat here till today and discussed the Watts case, that would have been easy for me to have a huge audience every single night, and it really wouldn't take much research or this and that because I know everything already that's in that case. I know that discovery in my sleep, and I could have expanded on that. And as you saw one day when I had the Rusaks on here, and we saw those other channels on what was called Watts Island, we're making a script. Okay, so you can't say I don't know what I'm talking about here, the concept of it, because I was sent the script. And I, with Frank Rusak, went through the script that these people were going to have all summer long to draw it in, and it was all fake. Okay? And if you missed that video, it's still on my channel. And it was crazy. They all had parts, and it leaked out, and someone sent it to me, and I shared it with the Rusaks, and they said they want to do the video. Blow this out of the water so that these people cannot sit there and milk this crap all summer long. Okay? And that's what we did. And we went through these fake storylines that they had. So she is saying, like, what I believe she said, her moral compass won't let her do stuff like that. She could, but no. And I say the same thing. I could sit there and say things or speculate and just... But I don't want to do that either, and you know that. You've heard me say that many times. Like, even when somebody said, like, oh, we're going to do Nancy Guthrie. What's new in Nancy Guthrie? What are we going to do in Nancy Guthrie? What are we going to do? There's nothing there. They would say Summer Wells. That's another case that just went on. And Sebastian Rogers. That's where you have mostly drama channels involved in that now. And it's exploded into something so crazy. And it's nothing about finding either of those kids. It's about all this crap that happened, okay? Some of the most sensational crap in those, and people would say, well, aren't you going to do any more Summer Wells? Well, where are the facts on Summer Wells? There's nothing there but drama now, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. If somebody is just into clicks and views and this and that, you could just sit there and be like that and just keep going and going and going and going where there's nothing there. We saw creators call Summer Wells a cash cow. That's horrible to talk about victims like that. I can't do crap like that. That's horrible. If there's facts and there's research and there's something that you can do and talk about, and she said the same thing with Nancy Guthrie. If there's facts, if you want to know what's going on, when there's certain things to talk about, yeah, I want to talk about it. But after a while and there's nothing there, well, what are you going to talk about? So that's the kind of thing she's saying. And that's what I'm saying. And I've always said that. So that's what I get out of her video. I don't know these people that she's talking about, this Melissa, and I don't know Ken Maines, and I don't know the killer that she's talking about. But I'm going more for the principle that she's talking about. And that is where I think that I agree with her on certain things. So, she's saying from non-professional YouTubers harassing innocent people that they deem guilty, stalking neighborhoods and witnesses, and doxing people, to professionals who align themselves with television, publishing, and YouTube in order to promote themselves, to sell themselves to documentary makers, television series, and publishers in the world of murdertainment. So, and then how Crimecon is in that, right? And she said that law enforcement is taking the brunt of this behavior, and the police who handle cold cases are getting the short ends of the stick. But you got to take that from her perspective, okay? As she is dealing with law enforcement and is teaching detectives and all of that. So, but see, I can agree with her on certain things, but not all the way on some things, and that's fine. And that's fine. And that's all I'm trying to say. So she just said that. And the last thing I want to just go over is what she said about Crimecon. Let me just see here. Okay. She was even saying stuff like there was a guy that killed many people, but he wasn't a serial killer, and someone was calling him a serial killer just because it sounded better in what they were trying to sell. In other words, that's my take on what she was saying there. But hold on, I want to just get to the Crimecon stuff she said, and then. Okay, Crimecon. Okay, here's what she said. Now again, these are her thoughts. She says, Crimecon does not provide anything to victims of a crime unless you want to include John Ramsey, that he was at Crimecon, and now we have the killer that's absolutely at Crimecon. And she said it's an event, that's all it is, it's an event. that people who are going to the event are promoting themselves, and people come to the event all excited because they're going to meet Nancy Grace and others, and they're going to meet this killer who got information from NASA, and he's a criminal profiler now, and it's giddy excitement, kind of like when people go to Comic-Con, she says. It's basically the same as Comic-Con. They dress up, they get to meet some of their favorite people, and then she started talking about Doctor Who and all that stuff, and said it's about a fun show on television, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but then she said something else about it. She said she didn't think she said the hairdressers get paid, the drivers get paid, but she said Nancy Grace probably got paid to be there, but some of the other people they don't, and she was just, saying, it's nothing, but it's an event like Comic-Con, and it's just turning into this craziness. That is it doing anything really about solving cases, or is all everybody is what she's saying is there for self-promotion and stuff? I'm not, that's just saying, that's all. And we know, like, this year it just was a shite show, right? And I'll tell you some of the comments on her video, okay? I'll tell you about what some people are saying. Someone said the guy with the 3 initials is a joke. Someone said, I missed the show, but I love seeing this video get such great response. Someone said, proud Patreon here. Thank you, as always, for your videos. I always have the utmost respect for you. By the way, I have zero respect for Nancy Grace and zero respect for Mrs. McCollum. To me, they're performative, no real substance. I'm just telling you what some of her comments are. Someone says media has messed up crime, and a lot of other people. Can we not rein this in? Thanks for presenting the truth. I couldn't have put it better. It appears the general public is horribly misguided when it comes to certain credentials, among other things. Okay, so, I just wanted to talk about that because I touched on some of that last night with the Crimecon, but I didn't say it all. So it was just weird that came up in my feed, and she was saying, in a sense, some of the things that I was saying. Was it all the things we agree upon? No. And, but I think we can agree to disagree, right? Okay. So let's see what you guys are saying now. Circus, hi Matt. But I could validate Terry that she was defending what she knew about Crimecon years before because it was different. It was great. No, I don't think she was talking about Crimecon. I think she was talking about the guy that's sitting in front of the Guthrie house. I think that's what she meant. I think that's where she was with that. Laura says, I don't know what Nancy had covered in the last 10 years. To be honest, it's impossible to keep up with every independent media source. But Nancy Grace was willing to stand up to the people bullying me literally outside of the courthouse. So did Carolyn. Clicks, views, and money says murder. Thank you guys in chat for not discounting me, for bringing up Nancy Grace I knew from 10 years ago. But see, I don't have hate for Nancy Grace either. If I met her, I would love to meet her. I think everybody has good and bad, there's good and bad things you could say about anybody, but that's like what I mean. I think Terry thought Carolyn didn't like the guy. She does. Yeah, and I don't understand that because, first of all, Terry, I don't watch that guy. So I don't like or dislike him. Do you understand, Terry? I don't watch him. I don't watch any of these people that are live streaming Nancy Guthrie. You can ask anybody. Ask Linda. Ask Scooter. I don't watch it. I don't. Um, so I can't tell you any. I was telling you what she said, and I was reacting to it. I'm the messenger of what she said. And while I was saying there are some things I agree with her on, you took it to task that I don't like the guy that you like, and you can't believe I'm saying that and I'm wrong, and you have to leave. What if I didn't like a guy that you like to watch? Scooter likes to watch a lot of crazy stuff that I don't like, okay? And she likes to watch somebody maybe washing dishes without a shirt on, okay? And if I don't like to watch that, right, Scooter's still the ride or die. Scooter's still my ride or die. Even though I don't like to watch a lady without a shirt washing her dishes. You get what I'm saying, Terry? Does it really matter in the end? I don't know who your guy is, okay? I was telling you what she said, and I was talking. You got so caught up, and I understand that because it's a guy you like, okay? So you're looking at that, and you're trying to stick up for him. But I was just telling you what she said, and I'm reacting to a concept where it's more about people that that I know continuing cases that, like the Watts case, like the Idaho 4, like things that I can't even believe how they're saying, Brian Koberger didn't do this. That's what I'm saying. No. That criminal profiler, Pat Brown, was talking about both of those people, Laura. More than that. She was talking about more. She was also put Brian Enton in there. Okay? I like Brian Enton. Listen, do I think that even the news media and journalists do things for sensationalism, clicks, and views? I do. I mean, it is what it is. Okay. But what I'm trying to say, Scooter, is if I told you, oh, I can't stand that, I don't think you're going to say, okay, well, then I can't be friends with you anymore. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I feel a little sad that, because I thought Terry was my bestie, but now I don't know where are you? Hopefully you're still around, Terry, because I would really hope that, again, I don't watch the guy you watch, okay? I was reiterating what she said about it, and I was relating it to something. Yeah. But I don't know. I think maybe if you take some time and think about it, because I think it's very emotional right now for you, and it's very raw because you think that I'm going after. I know murder, but I always over-explain myself. I shouldn't have to worry about it, but I do because I don't like to hurt people. I don't like people to be hurt, but I also don't want a yes person, and I don't want to be a yes person. If I don't like something, if I don't like liver, and you like liver like Scooter does, it shouldn't separate who we are. I think it's important to have differences, and it's okay. I got another weird recommendation, Scooter, and I wonder if it's because you're watching. Some lady, I think she's 72 now, and she's living in a camper or something. I don't know what it was. Something like that. You don't like... Oh, liver, you're not talking to me anymore. Oh my gosh, murder, please. No, I don't like liver, but Scooter loves liver. She also loves chicken. Well, she loves chicken livers too. But yeah, it's all good. You know what they say? What do they say? They say you don't chase after people, because if people really like you, I mean, you don't want to hurt people, but just popping in to say, I haven't been in here much, but everything is good. Hi, K-Love. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. Terry, she came with the Nancy Guthrie case, I believe. And then, she was saying how much she loved the channel and she loved it here. And I was her bestie and Scooter was her bestie. And she really loves it here. And then, gosh, I said something and now she hates me. So what are you going to do? How much is it to go to Crimecon? I don't know. Let me see. Let me check that up and see what it is. Crimecon ticket prices range from $349 to $1,600 plus. Wow. Standard badges typically start around $349 to $379, while premium experiences like Gold VIP and Platinum VIP cost between $699 and $1,200. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think she was that a love bomber, but I don't know. I thought she would. I mean, I hope she comes around, but you know what? I don't know what. It's upsetting. I'm not going to say it's not upsetting because you feel like you can't have an opinion. If you have an opinion, what does it matter if I have an opinion that's not your opinion? What if I like jeans and you hate jeans? What if you think women should wear skirts all the time and I wear pants? Does that really change? Listen to me. I got to tell you something. So I met with a man in Edisto. And he's a man that's probably seen it all. And I have his book too, okay? He's grown up in the very best of homes, and he's been to prison, okay? And then he's built businesses, and he's helped people, and he'll give somebody the shirt off his back. And I won't say which end of which political party he belongs to, but let's just say he belongs to one, and he went into a meeting with a bunch of women that were on the opposite side. Okay? And do you know what he said? He said, I walked into that room, and all of a sudden, like, the women came and, like, thinking, like, oh gosh, this guy is not the same party as I am. And he said, all I wanted to do was tell those women, it's not about party anymore. It's not about that. And we've got to stop. Because we're people. We're all people. And what's happening in this country is it's dividing us so much that people hate each other just based on that. And he said, it almost makes me cry because he said, if I have the means to help any one of those women in that room, I'll do it. And it doesn't matter that they don't think politically the same way I do. Because in the end, we're more than parties. We're human beings. And we're brothers and sisters. And we're people. We're the human race. And if I can help them, I will help them. And that's what I want them to understand. That don't think of me that we're so far apart. Because if I can help you, I'll help you. And I thought that was really important. He said, and that's what we got to get back to in this country. We really have to come together and stop this, like, it's so divisive. That's why I don't discuss politics. That's why I can't stand politics, because some people just hate you because if you think, oh, I can't possibly like that other person, and it's very divisive. So, yeah, he was saying, you know, so yeah, so I mean it's more about people and helping each other, even if you're not. Remember that Dr. Schottker during COVID said that even if he saw me crawling on the road, he would not give me a bottle of water. Do you remember Dr. Schottker? Really nice person, right? Kind of reminded you of that Twilight Zone episode where the guys had that bomb shelter and they wouldn't let their neighbors in, remember? They wouldn't let their neighbors were banging on the door, and he's just like, tough luck. You should have built your own bomb shelter when we did, remember? And it's all about, like, you think about one tin soldier, go ahead and hate your neighbor, go ahead and cheat a friend, do it in the name of heaven. You'll be justified in the end, right? That's what it's all about. There's so many people that just hate people because they don't think exactly the same way. Instead of all the ways they might relate, right? And even, I don't know. I don't want to get too philosophical tonight. Dr. Schottker, you remember? But it's about being a good person above anything else. You know what I mean? Yep. Remember that murder? Wouldn't even give me a sip, not even a sip of water. Because we should have got, I think he was trying to say he had been stocking up on water and he wasn't going to let any of his water go. And I said something to him like, so do you mean if I was crawling down the street and I was dying and I needed a drink of water? And he said, no, I would not give you a drink of water. I wouldn't give anybody a drink of water. It wasn't just me. He would not use any of his water because he had taken the time to collect that water. And he would not spare any of it. It reminds me of that Twilight Zone where, do you remember that Twilight Zone where they had the gold bars and the guys went to sleep and they thought the gold was so, precious, right? And they're carrying it around, and it's just, see, there is a Twilight Zone that teaches you something. They got to the point that they had only one canteen of water, and the one guy was dying, and he said, for one sip, it will cost you one gold bar. And anyway, these guys went through the desert trying to carry these gold bars, and they all ended up dying. And they probably wouldn't have they helped each other. And the irony was, at the end, when they're found in the desert by this couple, and I forget what year it was, because they went to sleep for 100 years, so it's probably 2060 or something, right? And they came by in this really futuristic vehicle, this husband and wife, and they go, oh my gosh, those poor guys. And they go, what were they holding? And they're like, gold bars. And they both start laughing. They're like, gold bars? Do they know that gold has no value anymore now that they found out how to produce it in the lab or something? No, I don't think Murder's making fun of you. They're talking about Dr. Shotger, hun. Laura, no one's making fun of you. Murder's talking about Dr. Shotger. Let's all get along, please. Let's all get along. There's room for everybody here, really. Just be a good person. Murder's talking about Dr. Shotger. Dr. Shotger, Laura, was a person, like I said, during the pandemic, had collected all of this water. Remember when people were hoarding water and toilet paper? Well, Dr. Shotger was hoarding all of that to the point that it was like the Twilight Zone episode, and they're not going to give it away. I know I don't. Well, yeah, nobody, Laura, everybody's happy you're here. It's all good. It's all good. Really, it is. We've been here a long time. Some of us longer than others. Some of us know Dr. Shotger, some of us don't. Who knows where Dr. Shotger is now? I don't know. Maybe they're waterlogged somewhere. I don't know. Hope they're all right. Maybe they're, I don't know, counting water bottles. I have no idea. Yep, everybody's glad. Everybody's here. And you're hoarding liver. You'll share with Scooter. Okay. I'll take the water, though, Murder. Yeah, no, I think he was before your time, Linda. Yeah, he was before your time. I don't know. I don't know what. I really don't know what to say. You know what? I thought tonight was going to be a little bit of a lighthearted video. I mean, if I knew that it would be this controversial, I mean, that's not where I was going with it. That is not where I was going. But it's, I don't know. Interesting, right? You're enjoying it? Okay. And you know what I understand while we're on this? There are other creators, right, that will like rightly call out people and yell at them and stuff. And they don't get upset. That's always, and I sometimes I feel like I can do this the smallest thing and someone goes berserko on me. And I'm like, how does that happen? How does that happen? I don't know. Yeah, I know murder, but I guess it still bothers me because I don't want to hurt anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to feel bad. I don't know. I don't want people to feel bad. I just thought like there really wasn't that. Again, this goes back to that. There wasn't any big case. Like, okay, Carmelo Anthony doesn't start till tomorrow. We went over it last night. There's no new updates in Nancy Guthrie. There's no new updates in Lynette Hooker. There's no, like, nothing that I saw. So then I said, okay, well, I heard this video today and I'll do this. And never thinking this is going to be the outcome. But who knows? We all have different ideas. Yeah. But that's fine. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. You could tell me you love the guy with the 3 initials. You could tell me you love this other guy. Okay. You know? They cuss him out. It's no biggie. They cuss him out. I know, right? That's what I just don't get. I mean, they do more than like curse them out. And I think in that case, I don't know what it is. I can't even say it's the male because it is a male creator, but there's also female creators that do it. And it's like the worse they curse the people out, the harder those people try to get back into the good graces of the creator. Like, oh, no, you did, no, it isn't my fault, totally. And they're like on and on and on with it. Yeah, see, that's you, murder, right? And we should all respect that. And if somebody loves him, then somebody loves him. You know? I don't know. And I really don't, listen, I don't know anything about that guy that sounds like orange juice. I don't know anything. I don't watch him. That's what I'm saying. I don't watch him. So I don't know what he's doing. I was just telling you what she said. 3 years ago, you told me Johnny Depp probably wouldn't marry me. Did I say that to you 3 years ago? I was mad, but you were right. Oh, I'm sorry that I made you mad that night. I guess everyone can dream. I don't know. But let me open up the, if anybody wants to call in, you can email me if you're not in Slack. But I'll put the number out if anybody wants to call in and weigh in on this. Why don't we just open up the phone lines and you can tell me what you like and don't like, and then I can tell you if I like and don't like it as well. And then you can tell me if you still want to be my friend. Won't you be, oh please won't you be my neighbor? Oh, I don't know. That's cute, though. That's cute, yeah. It's an upside down world. Yeah, it's an upside down world. Oh, no, you totally didn't. I'm just joking. Oh, okay. Well, because I might have said that because I do have some friends or friends of friends that think that they're really talking to Keanu Reeves and who's the other one? Kevin Costner and Elon Musk, believe it or not. And there are a lot of scams like that where people think they are talking to those guys. How many people think that, like, if they got together? Wait, I'm on the phone with Keanu Reeves. No, Keanu Reeves is getting engaged to me. No, no, I'm marrying Keanu Reeves. He just told me to put some money down on a house, right? No, Kevin Costner's talking to me. No, it's really Kevin Costner. He's on Facebook. I saw him. I talked to him. He sent me a message. It was his voice. I need a sarcasm button. Oh, yeah, I have the sarcasm button. It's okay. Yeah, but it's sad. It's sad when, like, when you hear, like, somebody sent, like, $40,000 to who they think is Kevin Costner. Like, why is Kevin Costner going to need your $40,000? Oh, that's right, because his money's all tied up in Costa Rica in that account because he's investing in those buildings. So he'll pay you right back if you just put that 40,000 in his account, and then you guys will just use it on the down payment on your house that you're buying because he's doing the wedding anyway. Yeah. And he just needs some money, right? He can't access his bank account right now. He can't. But a murder, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that happens, okay? He's got big investments. Takes time to get the money out. You know, people like that, they don't just have like liquid funds murder. Everything is heavily invested. So it takes time. It's totally normal. Totally normal. And come on, they just want 40,000 and they're going to give it right back as soon as they get those other things, other investments. They liquidate those. And then he clearly showed you he has like 2 million in that one account. So 40,000 is like, come on, it's like 40 cents. Oh my goodness. We could be besties, then Laura. Sarcasm. They are going to be mad at you even when you did nothing wrong. Yeah. Oh, yeah. People don't, yeah. They find a lot of reasons not to like me when they want to. Fake reasons, their own narratives, things I never even did. All the things that they hate me for that I never even did. That's the real irony. People that hate you for things you never did. Because they don't bother to fact check anything and they just take someone's word for it because, you know, that person's saying it and another person's saying it, so it has to be true, right? Doesn't that make it true? A lot of people say the same thing, it's got to be true. Has to be. Has to be. Does that mean Kevin Costner isn't really going to marry me? I'm heartbroken. Oh, maybe you really are talking to the real one, murder. I don't know. You know? Maybe you are. Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. Well, yeah, I thought it would be fun tonight. I meant to just have a lighthearted thing. It's therapy tonight? Good. Well, that's fun. Oh, I had a birthday brunch today, so we did have the birthday brunch today. I put a short clip where you could see where it was. That's the Western Hotel where I actually found out 2 murders happened there. One in 1921. A guy, we were actually eating outside. We started inside, we moved outside. And where we were on the deck, in 1921, a husband shot his wife because she went in there dancing with another man. And he shot and he killed her on the steps in 1921. And do you know he was not convicted because nobody had the proof of it? And then in 2008, the owner at that time had been drinking and he was showing off his guns on the bar, and he accidentally shot the bartender, who is an actress also, and killed her with 1 shot. And he was given a 6-month jail term and then community service and stuff like that. So 2 things, yeah. Yeah. Then I'll marry Keanu Reeves. I know he truly wants you. Right, murder. Yeah. And his bank accounts are just, they're just tied up. Does he like liver? Does he like liver? Does he like liver? That was my manager in my ear. That was Keanu Reeves in my ear. So, buttons on a shirt. Maybe. I can't believe Lynette. They don't have anything on Lynette, but like that profiler said, we don't know what they have. They just might not have enough to bring it to court. I, on the other hand, cannot believe that the prosecution already rested in Carmelo Anthony trial, and that the defense has already put on their witnesses. Is the defense going to finish their case tomorrow? Are we going to have closing arguments on Tuesday? I don't know. Is Carmelo Anthony going to take the stand? Why are there not cameras in the courtroom? Are you following that case, Laura? Carmelo Anthony? What did he say? He said, you can't. I don't know. Where's Mr. Wu? Mr. Woa, where are you? We could use Mr. Wu right now. Where is he? What did my manager just say? I just told you. He said he can't please everybody. Oh, Carmelo Anthony? Well, Carmelo Anthony was at a track meet in Texas, in April of 2005. It was a big track meet with many schools at Kendall Stadium. And there was a tent for the one team, and he went under that tent. And you don't do that. If you're an athlete for one, you stay under your team's tent. You don't go under another team's tent. And he went under the other team's tent. And he was asked to leave that tent. And there were identical twin brothers, Austin and Hunter Metcalf. And no, Carmelo, that's a different Carmelo. That's a different Carmelo. This Carmelo and Austin Metcalf were 17 years old in 2025 in April. And so Austin Metcalf is white and Carmelo is black. And they're trying to make this about race, but it's not about race. It's about right and wrong. And so Austin said to Carmelo, you need to leave the tent. And Carmelo said something like, well, why don't you try to move me? Try to touch me and see what happens. And the witnesses said that, Austin kind of like got him by the shoulders and kind of like guided him. And at that time, Carmelo had his hand in a backpack and he took out a knife, which you shouldn't have a knife at a track meet. He took out a knife and he stabbed Austin in the chest and he pulled it back out and he threw it, and Austin said, I think I've been stabbed, and it was like almost immediate. He died and in his twin brother's arms while his twin brother was screaming, this is my best friend, this is my brother, help, help. And they tried to perform CPR and everything, and it was too late. And then they got Carmelo Anthony and the knife, and it started to downpour, right? Yeah, you thought it was the basket. It's not the basketball player. And one of the police radioed in and said, I've got the suspect. I've got the alleged suspect. And he said, it's not alleged. I did it. And then he started to say it was self-defense. And it's definitely not self-defense. And then it became this big race thing. And now you've got people screaming at each other on both sides outside the courthouse. And it's just really charged case. And it really isn't about race at all. It's about right and wrong. And yeah. And it's about someone's life being taken senselessly. A brother who'll never have his twin brother in this life anymore. It's just about senseless violence, murder, taking someone's life because you think you can, over something so stupid. So that's what that is, and that should be going to the jury this week, which I can't believe. They had court on Saturday, and so yeah. The prosecution rested, and the defense has already started with their witnesses. I did an update on last night. I did an update. So that is that. Hold on, I gotta put my phone on the charger, and I need some more. I'm getting like Scooter. I need some more ice. I need some more ice and a drink, but. Yeah, so Laura, they're not allowing cameras in the courtroom, so we have to get as much as we can from some people that are there, but they're not even allowing a lot of people even to be in the courtroom. So it's really crazy. But I guess with all of the way that it's they're trying to stop the chaos and stuff, it's crazy. Hang on a sec. Oh, there is another strawberry. But there's also a cosmic cranberry. Oh my gosh. I'm going to try some cosmic cranberry kombucha. They had some really good strawberry serenity. I didn't know there was another strawberry serenity. So good. Okay, I'm going to have to try this cosmic cranberry. Can I ask what you think of the Cherry River thing? The Cherry River thing? What's the Cherry River thing? I'm vaguely... Cherry River. I want to look up the other stuff that she's talking about with this Melissa or something. I don't know what she's talking about. Cherry River. I heard something about that. Cherry River Distillery? What is the Cherry River? Gallatin Valley Land Trust? I don't know what is the... I thought I heard something about that, but now it's not bringing up anything. What's the Cherry River? Someone correct me. It's not Cherry River, but the guy in the floating river and the teens. We had a really bad case here, Henry Novak murder. It's causing civil unrest. I think I heard something about that. Are you talking about what I went over last night? Where the guy was trying to drown the disabled guy that was on the jet ski? Is that what you're talking about? No, now you're saying stabbing. Apple River stabbing? Hold on. Apple River... Apple, that was 2024. Nikolai Mayu found guilty. That was 2024. Is that what you're talking about, Laura? Because I... Yeah, but I don't see anything current on it, only something from 2024. I don't see anything new being brought up. And you said murder What did you say over there? You said no, a bunch of teens were mocking an older man. Hey, Jamie McGee, how are you? A bunch of teens were mocking an older man? But is there anything new on it? Because what I'm seeing is from 2024. If there is any crime case to get behind a false conviction, this would be one of them. Oh, you believe it's a false conviction? I'd have to look into it, Laura. I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, but it's old, but similar stabbing. Oh, similar to Carmelo Anthony? Is that what you're saying? Okay, I gotcha. I got you. And then Henry Novak. Let me just see. How Henry Novak, let's see. All right, so this murder's talking about that. This is causing a big problem. Excuse me. Let me see here. So Henry Novak was 18 years old when he was stabbed to death in Southampton in December of 2025. And that's him. Let's see what it says. It says the murder of the 18-year-old student has drawn national attention and questions over how police treated him in his final moments. He was fatally stabbed in Southampton in December by Vikram Digwa, who falsely claimed he had been racially abused and had acted in self-defense. Digwa was jailed for life on Monday with a minimum term of 21 years, but the release of police body cam footage showing Nowak being handcuffed as he lay dying has led to intense scrutiny of the police response, with the case also sparking fresh debates around knife laws, race, policing, and public trust. And they usually don't release that stuff in your country, do they, Murder? Henry was a student from Chafford Hundred in Essex. He was in his first year of accountancy and finance at the University of Southampton. His family said he had been fully embracing university life. And he had been out with his football teammates on the night of his death. His family said he was a much-loved son and brother who was kind, intelligent, and talented. In statements read to Southampton Crown Court, his sister Olivia called him her best friend and said they had an unbreakable bond. His mother, Lucy Ross, said her son had been ambitious, determined, and full of life. So they say that Norwalk crossed paths with the 23-year-old Vikram Digwa on Belmont Road on December 3rd while walking home alone after a night out with friends. And the judge, William Mousley, KC, described it as a chance meeting. And they heard Nowak was walking alone, unarmed, and had been drinking at a level below the drunk driving limit. The judge said Digwa was carrying a knife in a sheath, as well as a second larger dagger linked to his tradition as a member of the Nihang Order of the, is it the Sikhs? I don't even know how you pronounce that. Nowak appeared to notice the larger blade and began filming Digwa on his phone. And the judge said Nowak asked Digwa if he was a bad man before Digwa took the phone. He said the exact events that followed were witnessed by only 2 men, but that Digwa deliberately stabbed Nowak. Nowak suffered 4 stab wounds, including a fatal injury to the chest. The judge says Digwa filmed Nowak as he suffered following the stabbing. Digwa was found guilty of murder and jailed for life with a minimum term of 21 years. He was also sentenced for carrying a knife in public. The judge rejected his claims that Nowak had racially abused him and that he acted in self-defense. He told Digwa his actions had brought shame on his family and his religion and has stirred up racial tension in Southampton and across the country. Though Nowak was the victim, it was Digwa's brother who called 999, claiming Vikram had been attacked racially. The call was made, and police arrived on the scene. Body cam footage was released by Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary with the permission of Nowak's family, showed officers speaking to Digwa and others while Nowak lay on the ground. Nowak could be heard repeatedly saying that he had been stabbed and he couldn't breathe. The footage showed officers turning him on his side, handcuffing his hands behind his back, telling him he was under arrest, and during the video, Nowak became unresponsive. Officers then called an ambulance and they began CPR. At sentencing, the judge said Nowak's injuries were so severe he would not have survived. However, quickly he received treatment. But Nowak's family said the way he was treated by police was inhumane and degrading. Speaking outside court, his father, Mark, said the contrast between how his son and Digwa had been treated was unbearable. Henry did not die with dignity, he said. The temporary deputy chief constable, Robert Franz, said officers had been lied to in the 999 call, and they had faced an extremely complex crime scene. The chief constable, Alexis Boone, said he was distressed by the footage and said he was sorry for Nowak's family having been put through it. Alexis is a guy? He confirmed one officer in the footage had since left the force for an unrelated reason, while the others were no longer on frontline duties. Hampshire Police and the Crime Commissioner, Donna Jones, has also asked His Majesty Inspectorate of the Constable and Fire and Rescue Services to review the matter. Okay. The release of police body cam footage has led to widespread reaction and debate. Following Digwa's sentencing, Nowak's father called for a full, fearless, and transparent investigation into the police response, but he also urged people not to use his son's death to create division. We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred, or tension. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. But that's that. It was awful. The police stood and watched him die. Didn't believe he'd been stabbed. Oh my. For all the people that are trying to free Chris Watts and Koberger, the Freedom Project, why don't they go after this case, says Laura. But I lean way more towards the guy This guy then, Carmelo, similar case, different circumstances. He told police he'd been stabbed, and they said, I don't think you have, and they cuffed him and watched him die. How did they not see him bleeding and everything? Yeah, the Koberger stuff, I don't get it. Watts too. You have to see the video to see it, but you don't want to. I see. Yeah, I'll look into it, Laura. But sounds. So, are you saying that in this Apple River one, who stabbed who? The teen stabbed the old man, or the old man stabbed one of the teens? Sorry, a lot of my comments are in real time and they don't apply later. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I get it. Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to see what happened here, okay? Someone said the Apple River is an absolute shite show. It's like Mardi Gras in water, but worse. I've seen some things that could never have imagined, and it's very unregulated or watched over. I'm surprised this didn't happen a long time ago. Someone said it has been for years. I visited family in that area a couple of times, and they took me tubing down the Apple River. WTF? People running around openly rude and doing sexual stuff in front of everyone. People drunk and high AF. It was scary. Someone said, let me see. Can someone give me a quick rundown? So someone said Nick's friend lost his phone and Nick wanted to go look for it. They said not to worry about it because it was insured, and they thought he would look creepy going near groups looking in the shin-deep water with his goggles. He was near a group of 17-year-old boys, and they thought he looked weird. So they asked him what he was doing. They started heckling him, saying that he was looking for little girls. This was either a sarcastic comment he made or the kids made it up. Nick left and went back to the boys a couple minutes later. The video of the incident starts here. Nick checks his pocket, clearly checking to make sure his knife is there. He charges at the boys and grabs their legs. In the process, he drops his goggles. The boys get up, asking him what the F he's doing, and start yelling that he's a creep and an R. A nearby group hears the commotion, and they come to see what's happening. Two of the women get in Nick's face and yell at him to leave. He never says anything and makes no effort to leave the situation. He checks his pocket a couple more times. Twice you see the women put their hands on his shoulder and push him to leave. He pulls out his knife, opens it, and holds it low. He informs anyone that he has a knife or he intends to use it. He never informs anybody, I'm sorry. He hits one of the women in the face. People are trying to claim this never happened because you don't see the actual hit in frame, but it's clear from people's reactions and the fact that her glasses have fallen off her face that she was hit. Not to mention that Nick and his friend testified that he pushed her. It's not in dispute that he laid hands on her. And based on the sunglasses, I'm inclined to believe it was more than a push. The men in the group push him down and slap him in the face, and he gets up. As he gets up, one of the men attempts to push him back down, and he jabs the knife into the guy and pulls upward, disemboweling him. He turns and stabs a woman who was facing away from him. Isaac's hands are seen from off-screen pushing Nick. People are trying to claim he strangled them, but again, if you watch the video, it's clear he was pushing his chest and his hands slit up. At the point, Nick stabs him in the heart and kills him. One of the group has his hands out, trying to stop the fight, but Nick stabs him in the stomach. One of the men who originally hit him had backed away, but Nick ran after him and stabbed him. Nick then casually walks away and ditches the knife on the shore before returning to his group. They all get back on their tubes and continue floating down, going past the injured and pretending nothing happened. When Nick is arrested, he says, "I hear there was a stabbing and I fit the description." He then lies in his interrogation, claiming that the boys had tried to stab him, but he took one of their knives. The video is disturbing, both before the stabbing and after. The kids in the Carlson group behaved badly. They should have never harassed him, and the Carlson group should have never gotten involved. But Nick was never afraid for his life. He chose to return to the group, and he decided not to leave. There's no defending the actions of the teenagers. They acted like bullies, but nothing that they did justified what happened to them. Someone said, "Wow, so the guy stabbed 4 people. Is Isaac the one who died? Was he disemboweled and then stabbed a second time fatally to the heart?" Thank you for the details. My snap judgment on this is that this Nick guy was looking for trouble and was prepared to find it. Getting heckled is one thing. Responding with violence and killing someone is a whole nother. And someone senselessly paid with their life. He stabbed 5 people. The guy he disemboweled surprisingly survived. I agree with your thoughts. I think his pride was wounded, and instead of walking away, he decided to start shite. I can't say that he went there intending to stab anyone, but he sure made sure he had his knife as insurance. Okay, let's see. The surgeon who operated on them in time gave his testimony. He was very brilliant and competent, even more than your average surgeon. No wonder he survived. Okay, so someone said, "I don't believe it was self-defense at all." Him returning to the group, checking his knife multiple times before it escalated, not leaving, and never saying anything, choosing to stand there smirking. at them even after pulling the knife out leads me to believe he was never afraid for his life. So, Laura, what are you saying about this? Laura says, experiment. Watch the video first before reading anyone's interpretation. Oh, okay. I'll have to find it. All the details are debatable. Okay. The video is okay watching. Remember that there is editing by every channel. The impression you will get on this case depends on who. Well, I like to see the real raw thing. I don't want to see it edited at all. And thank you for the super chat. Let me, Laura, let me play you a song. Hang on. Super chat. Thank you, Laura.
Whoa, super chat, look at you. Sending love, we see it too. Thank you, Ramblers, shining bright. Mommy Ramblers, love tonight. Lights are glowing, hearts are true. Every word we feel with you.
Thank you, Laura. Okay. So, yeah, I'll find it, Laura. I'll find it. You know I will. Everybody's dancing. What if we all played jury and we weren't allowed to Google and read a potential biased version? It could be an awesome lesson. It could be an awesome lesson. It could be, yeah. What time is it now? My gosh, it's time for the word game. You know why? I can't believe it's 2:35. Hood? Oh yeah, hood, okay. Right, and hooted, yeah. Did you got hooted? Okay, and tooted. Hoot and hooted, right? And hooted. Oh, wait, hold on a minute, I forgot the T. Hooted. All right. And I tried tote. Watch. Yeah, see? Good night, Laura. Okay. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for coming in tonight. Hode. Hody, hody, hody. Okay. There we go, toad. Oh, you got it too. Toady dotes, doty oats, dozy dotes, and nosy oats, and little lambs eat ivy. Okay. Okay, very good, Murder. Got that one. What have you got there? Jackboot? Jackboot? Taboo? Remember that perfume? I don't remember it though. I mean, just remember the commercials. Okay. Cries. Ow, ow, ow. I just hurt my foot. Let's see. Ice, 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 baby. Sir. Oh, come on, stop it. I'm trying to do sir, and it keeps going to the sea. I tried rices. What do you have? I did that all. I did those. Reset. What do you got? Steer? Very good. Steer, and what'd you get? Terse. Okay. And I tried G. Gets. Yay. Oh, we got a special level murder. Oh my goodness. It's gonna have R. Gosh, this is a very short one, isn't it? Oh, teaser. What is it? Oh, terser. I hope you're right because I'm falling asleep. Very good. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, I'm going to go to bed. It's been a long night. Terry again. Let's agree to disagree. I didn't even say anything. I don't even watch the guy. Don't want to hurt anybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you for staying. Thank you for discussing. Be good, be well, be kind. Have a good night and prayers for all that need them, and a lot of people need them. Everybody does. Good night, everybody.